That was awesome.
You know how we have that tarpon picture?
I told you that that fly would work.
You know how we have that tarpon picture at home?
Yeah.
We can hang it up now. You can come out of lunch.
Good job, Nance. Very nice. Great eat. You got him hooked good. Good job. If you lose him, you lose him. Don't worry about it. You got a great fight at him.
He's going to jump again.
We're going to get him.
He's going to jump again.
He's getting tired already. He's not a huge one, so. No, he's got... Just don't let him
Feel
gulp
the
air. You want to
tension.
keep your rod down so he can't gulp air. Nice and easy. Don't hold the cork, Nance, so you don't break the rod. Hold the cork. Put the rod up, Nance, a little bit. Put the rod up. You need a little shock absorbent, so if he jumps, he doesn't break it.
All right, here he is. Maybe.
All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get him to the shoreline.
Oh,
You can't do nothing.
look at him. Oh, my God.
That was awesome. He ain't ready yet. We got to...
The rod is just vibrating.
You don't want to spook. We got to
Okay, fine.
not spook all these rest of
All
these fish. They're in here good. I think just go up channel and
Don't
just
go
drift
too
it
far.
down.
Don't go too far because we got to come back.
See, once they jump, they gulp air.
I know. And they recharge their muscles.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to come to the boat.
Don't point the rod backwards like
I know.
in the beginning, like you were doing it again. You're lucky he stayed on. There was a lot of slack there.
There's a lot of slack. There's a lot of slack. That's why I was holding the
Keep your rod
line.
up.
When she hit him first, I saw his mouth. It's like he's got it deep.
He got it deep. That's why I'm telling you. That's
Yeah,
why the
yeah,
flies
yeah,
with
yeah.
eyes are better because they don't get pushed out when they gulp it. It stays back in their mouth. So you saw in the video there how I talked about the eyes on the fly and how I feel they're important. You don't have to use eyes, but the reason I like putting a dumbbell on my tarpon flies for the Bahamas is it gets that fly down in the water column a little bit, gets it down in front of the fish. I also like the eyes because when a tarpon eats the fly, they push a lot of water. And without a weight, you tend to hook them out in the tip of the jaw where they're very bony. So I really like the weight on the fly. So I've tied in the eyes underneath. I tied in some orange marabou here for an egg sac, and I tied in some sand-colored craft fur. This is the extra select craft fur. It's a little longer. And I barred it with a Copic marker in light camel. So that's what I've done so far. Now I'm going to burn some eyes for this to put eyes on it. So I'm just using anywhere from 40 to 80 pound either mono or fluorocarbon. This is 60 pound fluoro. I kind of like fluoro because if you watch this, it doesn't drip like mono does. If I just come behind, I get that eye started, and then I just come behind it. See how I get like a clear section behind the eye there? That's kind of how I like to do it. So now I've got my eye. And I'll just let that dry for 1 second. And then what I'll do here, what I like to do is I just make sure that's dry. Is I just flex it a little bit, and then I'm just going to heat the mono a little bit, about maybe 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch from the eye, and that gives it a little 60-degree bend or so, so that when I go to tie this in, it kind of cants out the way I want it. A little trick for your eyes. Okay, and I'll just tie one on each side. I've already got my other one done. So I'll tie one on each side, and I like to set the eye kind of at the top of the horn there, like that. I'll just lock those in and just kind of walk them down the shank, lock them in. You can hit that with some glue if you want, just to kind of hold them in place good. Cut your mono. Next, I'm going to tie in a tan Estaz for my body. And then we will tie in, I'm going to tie in a piece of 12-pound Maxima You can use clear, you can use ultra green, doesn't really matter. You can use chameleon if you want to give the fly a little bit of a brown kind of rib through it. And then I'm going to take kind of a tannish hackle, something fairly large. This has a little barring in it. A good one, if you don't have any hackle like this, you can use Wapsi makes a ginger strung saddle. That's a really good color for this. And I'll just tie this in. I'll tie this in by the tip, like a woolly bugger. And then just advance my thread to the front. And I want to show you at the end of this how I tie the fly on. I do a particular knot that's really easy, and I think works great for this because there's no room in the front. You can't snell this or nail knot like you would maybe on some tarpon flies that have an exposed shank in the front. So I do a perfection loop to tie it, and I'll show you how I do that, how I get it on there. And then I just figure eight those eyes, lock that estaz off. Not a bad idea when you tie that estaz in to fold it back and wrap over it, just to ensure that that's locked in good. Take our hackle and just palmer your hackle through the body like a woolly bugger. And I evenly spaced that estaz a little bit. And what I typically do is I'll just kind of put the hackle in every other one, and that gives me the right spacing kind of coming forward. Okay, when I get to the eyes, give that a turn right behind the eyes, maybe finish it. Tie that off. And then take your rib, your mono, and I counter rib it to strengthen the hackle. And I just give it a wiggle as I come through everything. Just keep wiggling it just to reinforce that hackle because it's not overly strong. You know, throwing this fly on a 10 weight or 12 weight or 11 weight, you know, with that heavy line and, you know, potentially hooking fish, it's pretty easy for that hackle to break on you. Fibers got trapped a little bit there, so I just pull this out. And I'll show you guys how I tie this on the line. Same thing like the estaz. Just get that out of the way a little bit. So when I tie this off, I'll fold that back just to ensure again that that doesn't pull out either. And then just finish a little bit of a head. This is a really good tarpon shrimp though. And on these clear flats down the Bahamas, I really like this color. This fly seems to work really good on these tarpon. Pretty simple, just a basic fly. And then to tie this on, so you have shock leader, which is very heavy. So what I do is I put that on the leader, okay, and I hold on this side of the fly. So on the mainline side, this is the tag side over here, I'm going to create a loop, and I do it with the tag end. For me, the tag end is behind, so the fly is on the back side. So I create a loop, and then I do my perfection loop. I come around the back and then in between. And I'm just going to pull up that first loop and make it nice and big, and then just pull the tarpon fly through. And then I'm going to take the main line and I'm going to pull the main line, and that's going to bring that knot down smaller. So I'm pulling that main line with my fingers here. So what I end up with is basically a perfection loop with the fly on it. And then I just cinch that down, and you can kind of make that whatever size you want, nice and small if you want. You know, you can use something, put something in the fly to be able to tighten that. Just pulling that. And that's it. I just do a perfection loop like that, and that's been a really good way to attach that fly to that heavy mono. And then just trim. I leave a little bit of a tag there. I don't cut that super close. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, give us a call. Take care.